decided to pursue a career in law because it gives me an opportunity to help people. When a client chooses us to represent them, they're entrusting us with a huge responsibility. It's our goal to exceed their expectations with our personalized service and to help them to achieve the best possible recovery to compensate them for their injuries.
That's where we come in. We come in and we solve that problem for them and really set them on the right track in order to try and get back to what their life was like before the accident happened.
Man, technical stuff. Hey, technical difficulties apparently happened today. See if I can change that bad boy. Anyway, yeah, we had some technical situations, which I don't guess we have no more. But I'm looking at the screen, and it's up and down. It's horizontal instead of vertical. So I guess we still got some weirdness going on. Not sure why, but whatever. Anyway, hey, it's Sunday night, man, and welcome to the Big BoneYard. It seems like it's been a minute, but yeah, welcome to the Big BoneYard. You got myself, Big Bone 1%er. Hold on. I'm happy with myself, so right? And then also, don't forget, we got my man Tate from A-Bait. A-Bait Tate, what's up, man?
Oh, same old. Just happy Christmas is over. Let's bring in the new year and get the riding season started off right.
Yeah, and that always sounds. I swear to you, it always sounds weird when we say riding season in Florida, because But see, where you are, you might get a little bit of the coolness, but
I get the coolness. Like last year, we had the 3 days where it snowed and they shut all of my neck of the woods down. We actually had to borrow snowplows from Alabama and Georgia.
People in Massachusetts laugh at me whenever I make reference to the riding season. They're like, "The hell, what riding season?" They're like, "You got 12 months of summer." We kind of do, kind of do. Yo, I'll tell you what. So to go ahead and address a thing. So as always, me and Tate talk about all kinds of different stuff, but it's really important that everybody understand that these the opinions that we share on the big boneyard are our opinions. They're our opinions only. They do not reflect the opinions of our organizations, our clubs, or anything that we're associated with. This is our opinions only. So help me God. That's about right? There you go. So ain't nobody gonna get mad about nothing we say.
Or do get mad.
Yeah, do get mad, Catch me outside. Yo, but so tonight, we're talking about a thing that's that we've kind of touched on here recently because of this HB 429 stuff. But the topic of tonight's show is, what's up, Rabbit Sloth, Samantha, all kinds of folks. She said, "Hey, A-Bait Tate," but so it's a lot of stuff going on. They're trying to make these crazy laws that ultimately are going to affect motorcycle clubs in a really big way. So we're concerned with that. And so the tonight's show is a world without motorcycle clubs. It's worse than you think. And truthfully, some folks really won't give a damn because they might not really know. But we're going to break it down for you a little bit. Anyway, so here's tonight's description. Matter of fact, Tate, you want to hit it?
Yeah.
You got it? You got it.
See. I had it.
Here. Yeah, I got it. I'll run with it. But so here's the thing. The idea of living in a world where motorcycle clubs have disappeared sounds crazy. Some folks might not even care one way or the other, but until they find out exactly how they are affected by the loss of MCs in their town or their community. So if Florida has its way, a new bill, HB 429, would do a lot to destroy MC culture and erase a huge part of our lifestyle. So learn the real deal on this episode of the Big BoneYard. So we're really going to get into it. And so what we did was we put together, just in very simple terms, we put together just, what was it, 10 things, wasn't it, Tate?
10 things.
We put together just and it's a lot more than that, but we put together a list of just 10 things. We talked to some folks, did the little litmus test to see what folks was thinking. How would loss of these MCs and organizations, how would it affect you, right? And so that's what we came up with. Um, Tate, what's number one? And by the way, while you're watching, y'all don't be shy. I'm going to get the correct phone number. I'm going to put it up in a little bit. But Tate, you go ahead and hit number one. We want y'all to call in or comment. We want to hear from you. We got a new phone number. I'm going to put it up in a second. But as you were saying, Tate.
Annual holiday charity activities, i.e., toy runs, toys for dots, adopting families, etc.
Did you say Toys for Dots?
Tots.
like, like that sounded racist to me.
No. If anything, I don't like dots. It'd be toys for Snickers.
Okay, right. All right. But no, so and that's kind of a big deal. People don't so when we think about and we talked about this many a time, the how you call it, Toys for Tots, which that was started by the Marine Corps Reserve. God, was like I want to say 41 years ago, probably longer than that.
1947.
Okay, so longer than that. So 1947. So long time. But okay. By the way, phone number is 786-789-3323 is the phone number. There you go. And we're gonna go ahead and put that bad boy up right there. So anybody wants to call in can call in. But anyway, getting back to it. But yeah, we talk about Toys for Tots and a number of these sort of things. The toy drives and toy runs are huge because they're not just for kids, which is important enough. Being if you're a kid on Christmas morning and you get to open a present, it's a big deal. It's a bigger
Wait,
deal if you can't. And the thing is, a lot of those families, if they can't put something under the tree, they're probably going through hard times. So it's more than just giving some toys to kids. Like I know with my COC, the West Florida Confederation of Clubs, Tampa Homeless Outreach, ABATE, we get together every year. We adopt a whole bunch of families. I think this year was 40 or 42 families, something like that. And we adopted the families. And even though we call it the toy drive and the toy run, what we're really bringing is big meals for everything that you need for a huge Christmas dinner. Uh, we gave all year round gift cards for Publix, grocery stores and stuff like that. A bag of stuff for the mother or the father if there is one, just for the parents, stuff for them, but as well as stuff for every single kid that's in that house. And then a whole bunch of other stuff for kids that are just out there, the kids that we're going to run into, the kids that happen to be in that neighborhood. And if you imagine, that's just a few days a year in December that we do just that. That's not social services. That's not anything else. That's the biker community, and we're not the only ones doing it. That happens all month long, from the end of November all the way through Christmas time, every year, all over the United States. Fun fact: uh, it's recently come to my attention. I thought it was a Florida thing, but apparently, in the United States of America, the entities that are consistently give the largest amount of money to all charitable concerns, that money comes from the biker community. I don't mean just people getting out there and putting boots to the ground and doing stuff and helping Habitat for Humanity, building houses and all that. I'm talking cash money. That big money comes from the motorcycle community. So those motorcycle clubs that the government is you know, is so hard up on, putting away, that's going to cost somebody. Somebody's going to lose out if motorcycle clubs disappear. What was number two?
well, I want to touch on that real quick.
Yeah.
So motorcycle clubs are the biggest contributors. I want to separate that from motorcycle riding organizations because I don't want people to get these numbers misconstrued. Yes, your MVET riders, ABATE, places like that do get involved with these events also, like you had just said. But a lot of your charitable events come from motorcycle clubs. a lot of people think, oh yeah, well the bikers are out there raising money for such and such. That must be the AMVETs, or that must be the Legion Riders, that must be the Eagle Riders. Um, Big name clubs like out west, the Hells Angels, one of the top contributors for Toys for Tots since their inception in 1947. I know in the Midwest where my family's from, the OLs were one of the top contributors to Toys for Tots in that area.
Yeah.
Down south, down here, the OLs and Outcasts are two of the top contributors. It's the clubs are different based on where you are in the country, and that's nothing new to anybody.
Yeah.
But it's the clubs that are getting out and doing a lot of the money raising.
Yeah. You know, I remember last year we had a conversation. The toy drive last year was really successful. It was, thank goodness, thank God, it was bigger this year than it was last year. And last year was freaking huge, but we had so much stuff that we ran out of storage. We needed a place to store all of this stuff. And so in my club, I'm not really sharing no bad club info or nothing like that, but we have a property that we use the property which we were supposed to rent out to a client. That client had to wait about a month and a half because we moved all of it. It was, we used that property for storage of toys and stuff for families over the holidays because we had to keep that stuff until it was time to deliver it. That cost us money. That cost us actually it ended up costing us almost 3 months because we couldn't rent the place because we had to store toys. So this is that's just par for the course. But this is every single year. But the second thing is a lot of people don't get this. And if y'all know something about this, say something about it, because everybody probably knows a little something about it. But number two is the local economy. The local economy would suffer hugely due to a lack of business because gas stations, uh, guess what? Motorcycles use gas. And when you got 50, 100 motorcycles doing something, or even if it's just doing just the regular stuff that we do, guess what? If you're not on your motorcycle, you don't need gas for it. But gas stations, restaurants, which of course, bikers like
We
to
like to eat.
go take a ride and we're going to hit the same place to eat. And a lot of the restaurants, especially on the highways and stuff, absolutely get excited when they see a bunch of bikers coming through because we tip good too. So, but the gas stations, restaurants, motorcycle shops, obviously, whether they're fixing them or selling them, motorcycle sales are going to go down if guys don't need bikes for their club. Hotels, that's a big one because when we go to town, back in the day, and some folks still do, where you just grab a little bedroll and sleep on the side of the road or copy a spot out in the woods or something. Some guys still do that. I've done it a time or two myself. But in my old age, I like a bit more luxury. So we're going to go to a different town. And, like in Abate, we only go to hotels.
Yep.
We're going to go to a hotel and we're going to rent out, God knows how many rooms.
Half, if not the whole damn hotel.
Done that many a times where we rented out. I mean, in fact, a couple of times we had 2.5 different hotels.
Yep.
And this is just like for regular stuff that we're doing. It's expensive. This is an expensive lifestyle to be a biker, but that's just one of those things. So what happens when all of those businesses that I just mentioned lose that income that they've grown to rely on? And that they take a hit. That means they got to fire some people. That means they don't provide as good services. That means that they might in turn have troubles paying their bills or making their notes.
It's funny you say that. A couple years back when I was, down south in Lake County, Leesburg decided they were going to cancel their annual Leesburg Bike Fest.
Mm-hmm.
So they were having a town hall meeting on this.
How could they afford to do that?
Well, they were having a town hall meeting on this. So, of course, Lake County Abate rolls up.
Yeah.
About 10, 15 deep. And we go in there and we listen to them give their spiel. And me being me, I was like, They're going to open it up for people to talk. I'm going to talk. So I went up there after one of the city commissioners goes, well, me and the parishioners of my church don't benefit from Leesburg Bike Fest. My people don't benefit from Leesburg Bike Fest.
Yeah, right.
Well, I will say this individual's church is in the middle of a very low income neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I happen to know a number of people that go to this church. I went to school with them, and they are very much in the hospitality industry, i.e., they work at hotels
Right,
or
right.
restaurants
Yeah.
or Walmart or,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, so you mean to tell me that your people don't benefit from this? So where are my people going to sleep?
Right.
Where are my people going to eat? Not only that, if you all want to close down for Bike Fest, that's completely fine. But I still got to find a way to feed my people. So I
Well,
got to go to Walmart or Sam's Club to buy the meat to barbecue for these fuckers because bikers get very upset when there's no
well,
food
let me
around.
tell you, I know for a fact because I've heard this from city officials, police, and any number of business and a bunch of different businesses. Because imagine the number of businesses. We're talking about a place for anybody who doesn't know. Leesburg Bike Fest is a big thing that happens in Florida. Not on the scale of Daytona, but they do a good job trying to be right behind it. Uh, they make their, as they put it, they make their nut for the entire year in that one span of a week. That's it. They make all the majority of the money they're going to make for the year that makes them whole happens during that bike fest. As in, if
Between
they don't have
Wednesday
that
and
bike
Sunday.
fest, a bunch of businesses are going to go out of business because otherwise, I mean, I'll be honest with you, the place is like a ghost town for 11 months out of the year. And then, of course, during that 1 month for Bike Fest, there's people coming in, there's people doing stuff, there's people getting ready, there's people who take out loans so that they can get inventory to sell stuff for when the bikers come. That's every year. That's just one example. And don't get me started on uh, Daytona, Leesburg, Laconia, Myrtle Beach. They have the Black Bike Week up in the Myrtle Beach area. Uh, it's not Myrtle Beach, but right next
Thunder
door.
Beach?
No, no,
No.
no. Right next door to Myrtle Beach. The name jumped out of my head, but it's where they do Black Bike Week. It's right next to Myrtle Beach, but nonetheless, all of those towns, if Daytona wasn't Daytona for Bike Week and Biketoberfest, it would be a ghost town. The reason there's so many motorcycle shops there is because Daytona has become that destination for, even when it's not Bike Week, people want to come to Florida and go to Daytona so they can say they were in Daytona, and they want to go to the Speedway, and they want to go to International Parkway, and they want to do all of that stuff even when it's not Bike Week. So if you take away that mystique and that allure, or those events, every community where those events exist will absolutely suffer. And when I say suffer, I mean people losing money, losing jobs, businesses closing down.
I got one for you.
Yeah.
And it's only found in Florida. We're the only state with it. Mile marker one.
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
I have not come across one biker in my 30 something years of life that has not wanted to ride down to mile marker one in Key West, Florida, just to
Mhm.
say they made the ride.
Oh, yeah.
Key West is an island, people. It is literally a key. There's nothing there. Little mom and pop places, no big
Right on.
names. The only thing that's bringing things to that area is mile marker one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And by the way, what's up, Logic? Keep it logical, sir. Good to see you, sir. And but yeah, Douche just said he was saying in regard to the church, uh, he said, Tate, remind them of how that expected 10% tithe to the church will go down if the rally is banned. And that's a fact. Because believe it or not, the clubs are very involved with churches. They're definitely, I know a motorcycle club that owns a church. They bought the church because the previous folks, the previous owners of the property was trying to kick them out to raise the rent. The motorcycle club purchased the church because it's a church. It's been there for 20 something years, and the bikers aren't a bunch of a-holes. So they did the right thing. They were able to do it. They bought the church to save the church. People don't talk about that. A lot of folks don't even know about it, but I know that for a fact. I'm sure that those church folks wouldn't have a problem with the motorcycle club / their landlord, which charges them the same rent they've been paying forever, but whatever. But oh, and by the way, Deuce said that the beach I was trying to say for Black Bike Week is Atlantic Beach in Myrtle Beach. In fact, there's a really good documentary on Netflix called Black Beach, White Beach. If you ever get a chance, check it out. It's on Netflix. But yeah, and Heather was saying 0 mile marker. Yep, the 0 mile marker. Yep, and that's all the way, as far south as you can go in Florida. But what was number 4? Number 4, let's see, what was that? Okay, large scale. Here we go again. Large scale charitable giving, i.e., Tampa Homeless Outreach, St. Jude's. I could go on, but and that's not a holiday thing. That's 12 months out of the year. Where with Tampa Homeless Outreach, they do a lot of things to help veterans, and it's the motorcycle clubs. That Tampa Homeless Outreach is a veteran-oriented charity. The idea is to get homeless veterans off the street, get them a place to live, get them a job, get them a vehicle, help them get their life back on track. And it's about veterans. And of course, the motorcycle clubs started from veterans, and the majority of the clubs, pretty much every club I know, half of the membership are veterans, sometimes a lot more. Sometimes for military clubs, 100% of the membership are veterans. So we're invested in taking care of and watching out for charitable organizations, especially those like Tampa Homeless Outreach, veteran charities, St. Jude's, and stuff like that. Motorcycle clubs go away, then I'm not saying that folks wouldn't still want to help out, but the organization and the infrastructure that already exist amongst motorcycle clubs that allow them to do things in a much bigger, grander fashion and to give more money, that goes away. Somebody asked me, oh, well, if they shut down motorcycle clubs, won't everybody just go and join a Jeep club? No, it's not about the vehicle, and that's not why they're targeting. They're not targeting Jeep clubs. They're targeting bikers, period.
Bro, I got a Jeep. I ain't joining no damn Jeep club, and I got a Jeep.
Right.
Ain't no rubber duckies going on my dashboard.
Right. Here you go. Number 5. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Not only that, it's like people don't think about it. The clubs go away, and by clubs we mean any organization that has a patch of any kind, not just specifically MCs, because this bill is anything with a distinguishing patch or wearable emblem.
Yeah, and it if you ever read it, it's which we won't go all up into it, but yeah, it has a lot of different ways to screw you over if you're in a club or even in an association. But hey, Eastside Chemo, what up, though?
So then, it's like if they take away our right to wear a patch of any kind, no matter what it is. I mean, if you're a Writers for fucking Christ, they want to take your patch away and deem you as a criminal organization. So if you're gonna do that to us, why are we gonna want to get together without our bikes? Seeing as that's what brought us together in the first place, and go do charitable things for you when you just took our bikes away from us. You took what makes us away. So all these organizations are going to quit completely because nobody is going to want to get out there and do anything when you took away our reason for doing it in the first place.
Well, the ideology behind it is one. The idea is to break up the infrastructure. And there's a lot of reasons, which again, I'm not going to go all into it, but there's specific reasons why, especially in Florida. As much as Florida is a huge biker state, unfortunately, the current administration has a real hard on for bikers and motorcycle clubs. So much so that they've actually done previous legislation over the past few years targeting bikers specifically by name in the legislation. But number 5, support and awareness for the community, like BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse. Now, I can't imagine anybody being okay with child abuse, right? And I'm not saying that the government says they're against child abuse, but why would you want to destroy an organization who their whole function is to protect defend, and support victims of child abuse? And they do it in a huge fashion, um, all across the United States.
And bring
So,
awareness to it at the same
yeah,
time.
they make a huge difference in kids' lives. In fact, a lot of those kids who were what they call BACA kids, who they were abused child, and BACA goes to, finds out about it. They go there to the house with men and women because some of these kids have been abused by a man, so they're more comfortable around a woman. So a woman BACA member is going to go there, find out what's going on with the kid and the family, and hey, we're there for you. They're going to make sure that kid is protected when that kid goes to school. They don't have to worry about the ex or whatever he is if he's still out on the street popping up at school, because Baca is going to escort that kid to and from school with the motorcycles and the whole thing. Make sure that kid is safe in school. When the kid's out of school, going to make sure that kid gets to baseball practice or home or wherever that kid is going. When that kid has to go to court and testify against their accuser, you're going to have 20, 30 friggin' Baca members, big burly bearded so and so's, along with a bunch of nice women, are going to be there. Hey, kid, we're here for you. You don't have nothing to be afraid of. They work with the prosecution, the people that are going to prosecute these child abusers, but they're there in every way that you can think of for these families. And of course, if HB 429 goes through, and Baca's done, because they're not just going to stop in Florida. If they get this done, it's basically a litmus test. It's a hey, if we can do it in Florida, then we're definitely going to do it some other places. So Baca,
Yeah,
and
we got it
community
accomplished in
organizations like that.
Texas.
Number 6.
Mentoring and support of children, i.e., school events and magnet school events.
Oh yeah, okay. We get calls all the time to come to this school, come to that school. Um, Bring the bikes out and let the kids see what's going on. What do you got with the stuff that we do in the community? Fortunately, the people that need to know do know. So it's not uncommon to get a phone call from a guidance counselor or somebody who's doing PR or something for some school, or putting together an event, or a principal or something. Hey, will you guys come out? We're doing a family day, or we're doing a this day, or we're doing a whatever day. Can you come out? We go out, we talk to the kids. I know several members of different motorcycle clubs, one percenters and otherwise, who are mentors to kids, like big brothers, big sisters, that kind of thing. And these are mo- members of motorcycle clubs, like Evan right now. So
Well,
what happens when that organization is no longer, they don't have that resource available to them?
and that's something a lot of people don't realize. They think bikers. They think a your typical outlaw mindset mentality. You know, your one percenter bikers out there, big beards, tattoos, da 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 da. They don't think about, I don't know, your local attorney, your judges,
Yeah.
the men and women that work in your child's school.
We've got judges and attorneys in my ABATE chapter,
Oh yeah,
which is really interesting because there's an event, the Freedom Ride's coming up in a few weeks, and very interestingly, one of the judges said to me, "Hey, I'm off of this bench. I'm on a different bench now, so I'll be doing that ride with you, and I wish so and so would try something." It's a judge who is in full agreement that this HB 429 is completely unconstitutional and yada yada yada. I'm going to save that for another show. But a PA biker, what's up? And also, so number 7, support for drug and alcohol addiction, i.e., ARM, and there's a whole bunch of what we call clean and sober motorcycle clubs. They don't drink. do drugs. They are the exact opposite of the stereotype that folks try to put on bikers. The government would have you think that we're a bunch of wild-eyed, long-haired, cussing, killing, and uh, sexually assaulting so-and-sos and all like this, and it's just not the case.
I can attest that that's all BS because secret Bones bald.
I'm,
Bald.
I'm not bald. That's a choice, man. It's a choice.
You ain't got these luscious locks.
Oh no. You know, but look, I didn't buy this. I didn't go to the wig store like you did. But no, man. But groups like ARM, they're not just doing things for the community, but they're not just finding bikers who were struggling with addiction. They're finding anybody that's struggling with addiction. They have meetings like when we have church and they have church, it's a different thing. Their thing, they're like actively working them 12 steps and all that kind of stuff. And they're not just doing that for themselves, they're doing that for the community. So anybody who's struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, there's a motorcycle club near you that they got your back. And they're not jumping up and down on the Channel 10 news saying, "Hey, come here if you're hooked on something," but they're consistently, actively working to better not just their lives, but the lives of those folks around them and the whole entire community. So you shut them guys down. God willing, they would still keep working them 12 steps. But right now, they have a resource in each other that benefits them and the whole community. So shut them down if you want to. That would be damaging to the community at large. It's number 8.
Bikers combat human trafficking. I believe we're probably the number one combatant of human trafficking because
Absolutely.
who sees these sketchy people late at night at gas stations other than the other sketchy people that are at gas stations late at night?
Right.
I mean, we just happen when things like this are going on, that tends to be the hours that we're traveling because
Right.
we got to be somewhere by a specific time. So we're just busting it. Hey, there's a gas station. Let me pull over. Especially those of us that travel highways. That's where the majority of this human trafficking things are going on because you got the truck stops.
Yeah. We did a show. We've replayed it a time or two, but we did a 2-part episode on human trafficking a couple of years ago at this point. And from that show, from that little series of shows, we recovered, I want to say 20 to date has been like 25 women and children who were located because some biker watched that show and learned on that show how to identify the victim of human trafficking. And they took steps to make sure that those people got recovered. So 25 different folks are back home, women and children are back home. And actually 2 of them were little boys, but they're back home with their families because bikers gave a damn and because bikers have a sense of community and bikers, they watch the show and they talk to other people and they talk to people in their chapters and they gave a damn. And 25 folks are just what we can attest to, but we're not the only ones. There's all kinds of things that I've seen it in clubhouses where they had the human trafficking stickers and everything else. Again, that don't fit the narrative that the cops or whoever else is going to push or the government. But guess what? Shut down motorcycle clubs. I would like to think that folks are still going to pay attention to stuff, but they don't have the infrastructure. They're not traveling in packs going from state to state or from city to city doing motorcycle club stuff. They're not going to always find themselves in the place where they can actually see, identify, and help a victim of human trafficking. Why? Because there are no motorcycle clubs anymore. So that we got set number 9. Oh, okay. Political action through groups like ABATE, the COCs like West Florida Confederation of Clubs, INCOM, that's the National Council, National Confederation of Motorcyclists, and the MRF, Motorcycle Rights Foundation. So you got all of these different organizations who actually give a damn about all kinds of things. What was it last year? A number of us got together to work on and combat the tort reform that they were doing in Florida, which that's a big fight that we've been fighting actually for a couple of years straight, because again, there was legislation that targeted not just bikers, but it specifically targeted bikers, but a whole bunch of other things, which is why Florida, and this is why this fight is still going on, Florida pays the highest rate for insurance, no matter what type of insurance it is, in the entire United States. And that's including Guam, Alaska, Hawaii, and Puerto Rico, and everywhere else. In the United States, Florida is number one in insurance. Uh, in fact, we're one of only 2 states that have this stupid thing called PIP. PIP is basically a slush fund for slush fund for insurance companies and politicians. It's money for nothing, and
Yeah.
that's why we pay. You get rid of PIP, everybody's insurance rates drop by about 34.5%, like immediately, because it's a scam. But we know it. We're fighting it. If you go to another state and you start talking about insurance and PIP and all like this, they look at you like you're stupid. Florida, that's all we talk about because everybody's got homeowners insurance as a you're getting absolutely assaulted, you know. But anyway,
Yeah.
but guess what? And I could go on and on with a bunch of other stuff. The helmet law that got changed because of ABATE, boots on the ground, actually writing legislation, getting it done. But you have all these organizations. I could give you umpteen different examples, but political actions that don't just benefit bikers, but anybody in the state, just regular civilians in some case, or motorists, uh, people in cars. They benefit from the political action that these organizations are engaging in. And, so that's another one. What else you
So
got? By the way, anybody watching, if you haven't done it, hit that like button, show us a little bit of love, hit the like button, and definitely share this show because this is some stuff that folks need to know about. So hit the like button, takes 5 seconds. Hit the
you
like
know,
button, subscribe if you haven't done it, and share this with everybody listening. Go ahead. What's number 10?
we have some of the best followers. I want to let you know that. That being said, we have followers from all different walks of life. And something I want to touch on real quick before we jump to number 10 is the fact that I went to NCOM Mother's Day weekend this year. I went to Meeting of the Minds, which is an MRF event. Um, I've been to annuals, and the one thing that's being preached across the board anymore, we're talking about it in ABATE, the MRF's on board, which is the MRF, a lot of people don't realize, is the ABATEs around the US. You know, NCOM is ABATEs, clubs, everything, bridging the gap.
COT.
Yeah,
Yep.
we are all now coming together to fight these things. So don't think just because, oh, well, I'm a member of the COC, so I can't be a member of ABATE. That's not true. Or I'm a member of this, so I can't be a member of ABATE. Uh, to my knowledge, there is not a club out there that's bylaws specifically state. There is not a non-Leo club out there that's bylaws don't specifically state that they cannot be a member of ABATE. A lot of your clubs are ABATE members or MRF members at least.
Oh, hey, one thing real quick too. If you go to change.org, we have a petition and it's still out there. We still need signatures, but go to change.org and put in fight HB 429. That's Hotel Bravo 429er. So change.org, fight HB 429. And sign that petition and that help us out, show us some love. And like I said, hit the like button, smash the like button, friggin' subscribe if you haven't done it, and definitely share this episode to everybody and their freaking mother because we're talking about some important stuff. We're gonna get back to some fun stuff next week, but this is some heavy lifting fun stuff,
Hey,
heavy lifting stuff that everybody needs to know. But number 10,
suicide awareness.
okay, yeah, all right. There's a club that I want to say around 2007. They started doing a thing called the Suicide Awareness Run. And at the time, I'll be honest with you, I was like, suicide awareness, I don't get it. Everybody knows what suicide is. And the thing I learned is that there's 22 veterans a day. Well, now the number is 22. It was a smaller number back then, but there's at the time I think it was 12 veterans a day were committing suicide.
Now
Uh,
it's 22.
Now it's 22, and I didn't know that. I learned that from those guys back then. And every year they do one thing, they do one charity, and that's the one thing that they do. And they spend all year making people aware that suicide is a real thing, it's happening, how to combat it, how to identify when somebody's going through something, and there's a lot to it. I don't know all of the stuff, but those guys do, and they are making a difference in their community. They're making a difference in every community where bikers are doing that suicide, not just the runs, but the active day-to-day stuff. I've met a lot of these people on both sides, both people who have lost someone to suicide and people who almost lost themselves to suicide. People who thought about it or attempted it or were on the edge. And one of these folks got with them and worked with them in their life, talked them off the ledge, so to speak. But and we could go on. So tonight we just hit 10 points as to what the world might look like without motorcycle clubs and these motorcycle organizations in it. And so if you didn't give a damn before, or if you're just now tuning in, go back to the beginning of this thing, listen to what we was talking about. And we just hit 10 things. But there's a whole lot of ways. If motorcycle clubs don't exist, it affects your life. It affects your pocketbook. It affects the standard of your community. Just does. Just does. I can tell you for a fact, like where my clubhouse is in Tampa, we're in a place called Ybor City. And some of Ybor City is a little rough, right? The cops, and I'm not saying we're best buddies with the police or nothing like that, but the police on more than one occasion have explained, man, we appreciate y'all being here because this is an area we don't have to worry about. Because we don't tolerate crime and foolishness in our area anywhere near our clubhouse. But people see the motorcycle club as a resource. Hey, if they need some help, hey, talk to one of those bikers. They don't think, oh my God, you can't talk to them. No, these are our neighbors. So if something's going on, hey, they reach out. And, our attitude is take care of the community. The community will take care of you. That's how motorcycle clubs are. That's what we do. And, so if we lose that, everybody loses if this thing happens. So, but having said that, hey, we started late, so we're going to end a little early. But for real, man, if y'all get a chance, definitely change.org, fight HB 429. Make sure y'all check us back in about 7 days because we're gonna do it again. But yeah, man, and by the way, y'all hit us up on the socials or something if you got a question or something you want us to bring up in the show. Don't be shy, get at us, let us know about it, and if we get a chance, we'll definitely work it in. Douche, nobody likes you, douche. I'm just kidding. He said, everybody and their mother. Hey, the mothers satisfy one of the two required strikes from the HB 429 list, associates with one or more known criminal gang members. That's a fact. So if you live with your mom is now a gang member under HB 429. That's a fact. Dark Soul Corner, morning, brothers. It's good to talk to you, man. Good to see you. But yeah, man. But other than that, I'm just gonna tell y'all, I really appreciate y'all as per always, y'all riding through and riding with us here on the Big BoneYard tape. What if anything you got to say to the folks, brother?
Hey, anybody that's in the Panhandle area or wants to make a trip to the Panhandle area the second weekend in February, specifically the 9th, that Monday, we will be leaving Monticello, Florida at 8:30 in the morning. We'll be riding our motorcycles to the Capitol in Tallahassee.
Yeah.
And we will be going in and speaking with legislators. Not only that, the following day on Tuesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, we will be meeting at the Capitol building. We're going to have our own room to sit down and speak with these people about this craziness. So if you're in the area, you can make it in the area. We don't care if you're from Alabama, if you're from East West, Whipplahatchee, Canada, come on down.
And let me tell y'all, it's going to be a big ride. It's going to be a lot of fun, but we're going there to do some work. We're going to have some fun. We're bikers. We always do, but it's going to be a big ride. So come on down, get you a hotel if you want, get something to eat while you're there, get some gas while you're there. You know, it kind of makes a point. Hey, Bushman, what's up, brother? Semper Fi. And Deuce, I was just playing, man. But yo, other than that, listen, we want y'all to have a great rest of your weekend, and we're gonna talk to y'all again in about 7 days. But other than that, hey, peace, love, and all the above. And thank y'all for rocking with us here at the Big BoneYard tonight.
Welcome to the Big BoneYard. Enter at your own risk.
Decided to pursue a career in law because it gives me an opportunity to help people. When a client chooses us to represent them, they're entrusting us with a huge responsibility. It's our goal to exceed their expectations with our personalized service and to help them to achieve the best possible recovery to compensate them for their injuries.
That's where we come in. We come in and we solve that problem for them and really set them on the right track in order to try and get back to what their life was like before the accident happened.